I don't believe those rumors about the cursed summer camp. These are just fabrications by locals who like to make up stories to add some drive to their boring lives,
said Pauline, as she and her two friends, Ted and John, went out of town to investigate a local legend.
But if it's true,
Ted asked.
If that's true, we'll find something cool,
John summed up. Their spirit of exploration was stronger than any danger that might be waiting there. They entered the territory of the camp, climbing over a small, long, rotten wooden fence hung with signs with prohibitions and warnings of danger.
Let's see,
drawled Paulina.
That's what we are, brave explorers,
Ted praised himself. They moved in a half-crouch, thinking that they were less noticeable, but in reality it did not affect anything, because they made enough noise anyway, because they were constantly giggling and talking. Suddenly, the friends heard a rumble and a loud crack of branches behind them, exactly where they had just come from.
It is you?
Ted asked.
No, I think it's something else,
John replied. The sound became closer and closer until it seemed that it appeared from behind every tree. Trembling with fear, the friends stopped listening.
Who's there?
Cried Paulina. Faced with the wasteland, they realized that it was something supernatural. Their casual conversation was interrupted by shouting and the sound of running, and the next thing they remember is that they are in the middle of an old wooden building that looks like a canteen or something.
Oh, that was awful,
John stuttered, sighing in relief as he looked around nervously as he asked,
Where are we?
Maybe we should explore this building,
Ted suggested, trying to justify his fear.
Let's do it. There's probably nothing dangerous here. All one outside to what caught up with us. I don't want to go back,
answered Polly, although she too looked anxiously at the old building. They went around hall after hall. Everywhere there were old-fashioned tables for many people, some stands for food and a lot of old dishes, until they reached the basement. It was dark below, and only a weak light penetrated from the open door in which the friends were standing.
It doesn't look good at all,
John said.
But we're already here. I guess we should explore this place.
but what if we run into something sinister?
Then we know where the exit is because we are right on it right now.
Paulina jokingly encouraged her friends, hoping that everything would be fine. The comrades went down the stairs and came to a large leaning door frame that once had to hold a sturdy door that couldn't be lifted. However, now she kindly invited guests to pass through her. As soon as they crossed the threshold, they felt a strong wind that almost pushed them outside.
We have to go on,
shouted Polly, trying to drown out the roar of the wind that filled the entire space of the basement. Friends began to go around the basement in search of any way out. The space seemed to get wider as they walked further. They could hear something far above screeching. In the next hall, a pleasant surprise awaited them. Through small holes in the ceiling, street light penetrated into the mixture, which allowed the company to see several long corridors that seemed endless. At that moment, the comrades heard a knock behind them.
We have to find a way out of here as soon as possible,
John said.
I agree. This place really does look cursed.
Ted agreed. They started moving quickly in the opposite direction of the sound before stopping in front of a large wooden door.
I guess that's the way out?
John said.
In any case, it is necessary to check, because I see no point in going back.
Paulina pushed him. Then, as soon as John touched the door, he felt something holding it shut. He tried to push the door, but it wouldn't open.
Let's keep calm and find another way out,
John suggested. As soon as they moved away from the closed door, they heard the screeching again. When they looked up, they saw something that stopped them in their tracks. Above them, under the vaulted ceilings, a mass of dark shadows billowed eerily, shifting up and down as they approached the boys.
Run,
Paulina shouted. Friends ran like never before. Their hearts were beating so hard they could feel them in their ears. Dark shadows overtook them, coming closer and closer. John was agile and could feel his heart pounding out of his chest as he moved down the narrow corridor. Ted was in shock, but continued to run, seeing nothing in front of his eyes. And Paulina was strong and determined, but too uncollected. Her thoughts were confused, and she did not know exactly where she was running and what she was running away from. When the tired and confused friends compared themselves, the shadows still catching up with them, they noticed a small door on the side and hastily opened it. They fled through it, closing the door behind them, facing the white light and fresh air.
We saved ourselves,
Said Ted, trembling.
Yes, but what was that?
John asked, completely losing his cool.
I don't know, but we have to get out of here as fast and as far as possible.
Polly replied. The boys ran out of the children's summer camp and sank slightly in the stifling air. They began to argue among themselves about what had happened. Their eyes were open, they could see each other, but everything that happened behind their backs remained a mystery that they would never be able to solve.